You're way too close-minded and ignorant on certain things, I feel. Believe me, most of women are not like the American women. I don't know if I'd say I'm close-minded and ignorant. I would say I'm red-pilled. I think that maybe you're white-pilled. You got Dodge here, or Doge, or however you pronounce it. So maybe you're one of these white-pilled Gen Z guys. I'm not white-pilled, man. I'm red-pilled, and maybe even leaning a little black-pilled, and I'm somewhat MGTOW, you could say. So I'm kind of an amalgam of different aspects, and I'm certainly not white-pilled. I mean, I appreciate white-pilled guys. I'll say that. I like white-pilled. I like people who are positive and, hopeful and things like that. But I'm pretty realistic. I've always considered myself a realist, meaning I try not to be subjective, like based on my own experience. I try to be objective, and I share what I talk about on my channel is the same reiteration of so many other men in the red pill community, and what I experience is what so many other guys experience. So I don't know, and you could say it's just a Western American thing. I've talked to a lot of guys overseas who say, yeah, kind of, but not really, that the women are, I mean, it's just, this is what happens when you have peace and you have, the Industrial Revolution and world trade changed everything. It's probably the most important, one of, if not the most important marker in the 20th century. And with that came a lot of relaxed women, right? And you realize that female nature is it's hypergamous. I don't care if you're in the poorest village of Africa. Those guys down there are still competing for the women, right? They're still wearing different kinds of adornments, and you still have to attract a female nature is female nature. Whether you're in America, whether you're in Sudan, wherever, man. Like, she wants a rich guy. Like, that's just the way it is. Women will ditch a poor guy for a guy with more money. That's just the way that it is. That's not closed-minded and ignorant. That's just the truth. That's just the objective truth. And it's the reason why American women are the way they are is because they're allowed to be that way. America is a place where people can be greedy. America is a place where our quote-unquote freedom allows people to have excess. And women are the biggest spenders. So it's no wonder why women are allowed to walk around like deities. Because they have freedom. And what does freedom do? It exposes your nature. It exposes who you really are. If you live at home and your parents make you go to church and make you do chores and all these things, and you don't want to do that, it's not in your nature to do that, your disposition or whatever you want to call it, you're going to do it while you're at home. So women in other countries are going to adapt to the restrictions that they have, the environmental limitations that they have. So in America, it just makes sense. When you leave your parents' home and they were all strict and yada yada, right? You're going to kick your feet up and you're going to be lazy. You're not going to clean your room like they made you do. You're not going to do the same stuff. You're going to kick your feet up. And it's like, yeah, there's consequences to that, but it's the same in America. There's consequences to thottery. There's consequences to loose promiscuity. But they don't care. Because they've got their freedom, so it's all good. And again, I've talked to guys from other countries and they say it's not. That's kind of a myth. The reason why Americans go to Thailand, which I've heard is dangerous, by the way, you can Google I Googled something the other day, and it's actually dangerous to go to these places now where, you know, guys think, oh, I'll just go to Thailand or Vietnam and I'll just clean up. It's like, it's kind of dangerous. You could get your organs stolen from you. You could get kidnapped. I mean, there's a lot, you know, there's a lot of videos on YouTube. You can look them up, you know, why that's dangerous. But even if it's not dangerous, even if you go over there and it's like, wow, the American guys are treated like kings. It's like, the thing is, man, they're treating you like kings because of money. It's not like these women, these women are poor or whatever, so they're just pure. Like, that's, I don't believe that, because female nature is female nature. They all use sex to get resources. That's just the way that it is, man. Like, that's a red pill. Sorry. You know, like, I'm not being closed-minded and ignorant. Like, he says, believe me, most of women are not like American women. I mean, I don't think that's the case. I think that really their environment doesn't let them be as narcissistic and arrogant as American women. That's the case. They're not allowed to be because they're too poor, or the men won't allow them to be like that. American men are cucked by feminism. We let feminism take hold, and now we're cucked, right? And it's like, I'm not suggesting oppression or anything like that per se, but second wave feminism ruined everything. Second wave feminism came in and it removed social stigma and social checks and balances for loose promiscuity. It's one of the biggest things I talk about on my channel. Second wave feminism pretty much ruined our society, and we're seeing the effects to this day. Rampant single motherhood, right? STDs everywhere. 500,000 abortions every year, which is ghastly. I mean, in I don't know, what's the 8 times every 9 years or 10 years or something like, no, every 12 years, women are killing more babies than Hitler allegedly killed, you know, in World War II. I mean, come on. Like, hello. You give women your freedom, and this is what they do. It's an experiment. It's like a science project. Like, we gave them freedom. What did they do? They stabbed us in the back. There's no feminists in the Middle East. Their men won't let them. No. Go back to the kitchen. I'm just saying, man, like, it's reality. And the only reason in Eastern Europe or wherever you're talking about, Thailand, Vietnam, yada yada, the only reason these women are not like in America is because environmentally they don't have the opportunity to be like that, because their environment won't allow them to be. They're too poor, or their men just say, no, you can't. No, you know, get to work, go out into the field. We have an advanced society in America which has allowed people to be free due to trade, due to the Industrial Revolution. And the result is basically a science experiment. The result is, well, this is how women act when they have absolute freedom and when they have autonomy. This is how women act when they have the opportunities that men do, quote unquote. But in reality, what do? They're selling themselves. So there you go. This is how women behave. So it's not, I'm not being closed-minded and ignorant on that. I'm just being realistic, calling a spade a spade. I'm a realist. I wish there was, man. I wish I could be positive and white-pilled and be like, oh, man, you know, I hope for a girl overseas. Walt, man, all women are like that. They just don't have the opportunity to be like that. I mean, wouldn't you, in a way, I've said this before on my channel, wouldn't you, if you had a million options, wouldn't you exercise your options? Yes, you would. That doesn't mean you don't have that doesn't mean you don't have responsibility or consequences for exercising your options. Women do, and that's what I talk about. Is women should have responsibility, accountability, and discipline, because you're supposed to be a mother. That's what you want. This is what women want. I want to be a mother and I want to have a family. Well, maybe you shouldn't thought around in your 20s then, right? But the point is you would too as a man. If you had options, you would go sleep around. So they're just exercising their options. And yes, I can fault them for that, because again, you should have responsibility as a future mother. You don't want to shame yourself for your kids if that's what you want. If you want to be a thought and you don't want to have kids, it's like, okay, but women want their cake and to have it too. They don't want to just be a thought. They want to have everything. They want to be a thought, not be judged for it, right? Get a high value man still, right? All these things. So they want to have their cake and eat it too. That's what happens when we give them freedom. The only reason these little Vietnamese girls are jockeying American men, right, loving us long time, is because we're rich. We have money. We go over there with $100. It's like $5,000 to them or whatever. I don't know the money exchange, but that's the point. This is female nature. It's hypergamy. Women are. I got a friend from. I got a guy I hang out with a lot. He's from Romania. That's Eastern Europe. I asked him about the girls over there. So he said, "Yeah, they're just like American girls." I know people who live in England. I know people who've been around Europe. Man, it's not. I hear this. I hear that guys are like, "Oh, just marry a foreign girl. Oh, that's the answer." It's like, really? We know what female nature is, man. Anyway, so that's that. I don't know. This other guy's talking about the odds. The odds are in our favor because we can date up, down, and sideways. Women are willing to date. Women are only willing to date up, and it's like, no, man. We only can date within our options, and most men do not have options. That's just a fact, man. Most men do not have options unless we got a lot of money or we're really good looking. We don't have a lot of options. Most guys, the average guy, man, I don't understand, because to me this is obvious. To me it's like, well, I mean, they've done studies, right? Like, just go and catfish for a minute. Go create a fake account on Tinder and use pictures of a hot girl and see how many guys, like thousands of guys, will slide into your DMs within a day. I mean, what is that? That's a power vacuum. That is scarcity. That's abundance for women, and it's scarcity for men. Hello? Like, this is it's science at this point. Anyway. Yeah, man, it's nothing nice for men in our society. Anyway, that's how I feel. That's how I feel on that, because it's basically observable. It's obvious. It's obvious, man. And these black pill guys, I'm convinced these guys don't go outside. If you're really black pill, I'm convinced they don't go outside, because they're always focused. And I'm not saying the guys who commented there are black pill, but I hear a lot of black pill guys that like, oh, being tall is everything, and it's like, no, it's not. I'm 6'1". I work out. I'm in good shape, and it's not. Women like, and I think it's human nature. We like face. If you have a good face, if you're hot in the face, that's what matters. So anyway, man, yeah, I don't see that. I don't see guys having a lot of options. And overseas, I think that's I think that's a wild goose chase. I think that's a myth mostly. I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying guys can't go over there with a lot of American money and clean up. As far as, you know, paying for it, sure, because these women are broke. But if you put those same women in America, after 5 or 10 years, all that brokenness and all that you know, culture in them that is supposedly so great, that's going to be gone, and it's going to be replaced with the arrogance and the Jezebel spirit, really, because that's what freedom produces. That's what, when they have unlimited options, they become warped. And I don't know how to. How do you fix that? How do you fix that? I heard somebody suggest the other day that the best way to fix that is for men to start, you know, ghosting women, for men to start having standards. And I always preach that men should have standards. But there's too many men out here who will simp. There's too many men out here putting them on a pedestal. There's too many men giving them attention. It's obvious. Everywhere they go, they're getting attention. Whether it's on the dating sites or the mall or wherever they go, guys are hitting them up. Like that, it's just the way it is. And it's like, there's no answer. And I don't care. I mean, maybe you could go overseas, take your money and go overseas, you know, like, okay. Like, and then so what? Your American money will buy you a woman? It's like, well, you might as well buy a woman in America. What's the difference? Oh, she's cheaper in Thailand. I guess, man, we'll go for it. Like, so what? I don't talk about that because I don't live in Thailand. I don't live in Vietnam. I don't live in Eastern Europe. All these places that the guys say, oh, girls are so different. First of all, again, I talk to guys. It's like, no, they're not. They're not that different. The only reason they're different is because you got those American bucks. And they treat you different, sure. And you're an American guy. Oh, he's 6 foot tall, American guy. And all these other guys I'm looking at are these 4'9" Thailand guys, and with their small dicks, and this guy's American and he must have a big dick, and wow. It's just like, okay, but they're still women. They're still women. And trust me, I've talked to, like I said, I talked to a lot of guys. I've been in a lot of pickup groups, PUA groups, where they go overseas and they game, and the Western materialistic arrogance is spreading to those places. It's not just in America where this goes on. Okay, that Western, it's spreading everywhere. And the reason why, as I talked about in the beginning of this podcast, is because of the Industrial Revolution, because things are getting easier. When things get easier, people get arrogant. Hard times produce character. But if things are easy, people get arrogant. And especially the women, because women are the biggest spenders. Women are much more materialistic than men. Men are more frugal when it comes to money. Most women, they want to spend money. They want to use money to go on vacation, to buy clothes, to have good times. This is how women are. Women are the biggest spenders. That's a fact. Women are the ones who are the biggest contributors to the economy. That's a fact. The only reason these girls are different in these other places is because financially and environmentally, they're just not as rich as America. But if they had the opportunity, they would be just as arrogant as American women. So that's that. That's how I feel on that. I don't like being called ignorant and closed-minded and things like that, because I feel like I really make my stance pretty clear. I try to be as clear as I can. So, you know, I'm not going to take that as an insult. You know, but still, it's like, I think I've explained myself on this. It's like, it's pretty obvious what I'm talking about. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. No hard feelings, nothing like that. I always appreciate you guys' comments, and if you want me to talk about something or expand upon something, I'm all for it. Just try to be respectful and don't name call, and we'll be all good. All right? Appreciate you listening. Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Peace.